Today's first video for you. Firstly, we know that a few hours ago, a WFP convoy carrying around 1700 metric tons of aid arrived in Mekelle. Getachew Reda has now responded to this development. What is he saying? Is Tigray government satisfied with the delivery of aid to Tigray? US State Department also released a statement after the convoy reached Mekelle. Second, viewers, Tigray People Liberation Front and Oromo Liberation Army, they struck a military alliance last year, we know. They announced to join in their struggle against Ethiopian government. That was a military alliance. Apart from this military alliance, OLA, TPLF and other factions formed a political alliance as well last year. Now, we know that an operation against Oromo Liberation Army is underway in Oromia region for the last 10 days. Why is Tigray government silent? It hasn't issued any statement about this operation. Just one Tigray government official spoke about this operation. Who is he? What did he say? And lastly, viewers, Oromia Amhara border. In a previous video, I reported about the deployment of Amhara forces, Amhara militias along border areas on Amhara side of the border. And they were being told to be prepared that they might have to enter Oromia. So did Amhara forces, Amhara militias enter Oromia to fight Oromo Liberation Army? They did. What we have learned from the ground is that some Amhara militias, they were asked to enter Oromia region. But what happened after that is very significant. Ethiopian National Defense Force had to intervene after the entry of Amhara militias in some parts of Oromia. We have some updates from the ground for you. Firstly, viewers, we know that a few hours ago, a WFP World Food Programme convoy entered Mekelle. It was carrying around 1700 metric tons of food, medicines, and other items. 3 fuel tankers also arrived in Tigray. How does Tigray government see this development? Getachew Reda has spoken about this development. He is saying that we reiterate the importance of significant, sustained, unconditional and unhindered humanitarian access to Tigray. 4 very important words. This sentence was actually written in a statement by US State Department issued after the convoy entered Mekelle. So he has shared this sentence of US State Department statement. 4 very important words in this sentence, viewers. Significant. So Tigray government says there must be significant amount of aid entering Tigray. Secondly, sustained, that it should continue. The process should be sustained, not just a few convoys with a few trucks. Thirdly, unconditional, that this delivery should be unconditional, though we know that there is some understanding regarding some withdrawal of Tigray forces from afar. No understanding regarding withdrawal of Tigray forces from Amhara. But there is understanding reportedly about gradual withdrawal of Tigray forces from afar, and they have withdrawn from Rabadi. Fourthly, unhindered, which is so far there was no impediment along the road, no hurdles. So convoys safely entered Mekelle. So Tigray seems to be welcoming this move in a way, but it wants a significant, sustained, unconditional and unhindered access. US State Department also spoke after this WFP convoy reached Mekelle. US State Department appreciated the efforts of all parties, Tigray, Ethiopian government, Afar, aid agencies, WFP, others. At the same time, US State Department asked for more. It says that there must be resumption of basic services in Tigray like telecommunication services, electricity and banking services. State Department appreciated Tigray forces for their withdrawal from Afar region, and it wants now a political process as well. Resumption of basic services and start of a political process. That is what is being suggested by US State Department to resolve this conflict. Now, secondly, viewers, we know that for the last 2 weeks, a military campaign against Oromo Liberation Army has been underway across Oromia region. We have been waiting for a statement from Tigray government. What is Tigray's position on this operation? Because Tigray Defense Force and Oromo Liberation Army, they struck a military alliance last year. Then TPLF and OLA and other groups, they formed a political alliance as well in the US last year. But Tigray has been largely silent so far. So it hasn't issued any statement about its ally. OLA is TDF's ally, but no statement so far. Just a few hours ago, one Tigray government official spoke a little about this operation against Oromo Liberation Army. His name is Professor Kindeya. He works at Tigray External Affairs Bureau. He has shared a statement of Oromo Liberation Army, which OLA released 2 days ago. And he says that Abiy Ahmed's war of aggression against Oromo people. And then the statement is attached of Oromo Liberation Army. So he is saying that this is war against Oromo people. This is aggression from PM Abiy's government. But so far, Tigray government has not released any statement about the ongoing operation against Oromo Liberation Army. What is TDF's position? What is Tigray government's position about this operation? We have not seen that. But Professor Kindeya is approving OLA's statement, in which OLA said that the operation was against Oromo civilians who were being targeted. It was an attempt to pit one group against the other by involving regional forces. And OLA had called for cessation of hostilities, start of talks, withdrawal of all forces from Oromia. Let's see, will Tigray government officially speak about the ongoing operation against OLA? Will Getachew Reda speak about that? Lastly, viewers, in a previous video, we reported about the preparations being underway by Amhara regional forces, Amhara militias, in case of their entry in Oromia region. They were told to be prepared, that they might have to enter Oromia region to fight Oromo Liberation Army. And there was deployment of Amhara forces along Amhara-Oromia border. Now, what we have learned from the ground is that in one zone of the Oromia region, reportedly Amhara forces, some Amhara militias, they were asked to enter, and they did enter. The zone is West Shewa zone, where there is heavy presence of Oromo Liberation Army. If you remember, I have been updating you about OLA's gains in West Shewa. And in some parts of West Shewa, Amharas live as well, Amhara ethnic community members, especially in border areas, in large number. Now, OLA fighters have been operating here, and Amhara forces, they were told to enter West Shewa. They did enter there. What happened after that? Reportedly, after that, locals became involved in the fighting too. Locals became involved, government forces, Amhara forces, OLA. So there was a sort of mess there in West Shewa. Dozens of houses were burnt as well. They were set on fire. Then reportedly Ethiopian National Defense Force intervened. The situation was becoming alarming. It could have led to serious consequences for the communities, Amhara, Oromo living in West Shewa. And ENDF told Amhara forces to leave West Shewa zone. Reportedly Amhara forces, Amhara militias, they have withdrawn from West Shewa zone at the order of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Getachew Reda is a Lieutenant General of Ethiopian National Defense Force. He is commanding the ground forces in Oromia in this operation. Reportedly, Getachew Reda is commanding OLA. He's commanding operation against OLA. He's commanding Ethiopian National Defense Force. And he ordered Amhara forces to leave West Shewa, and they are out of West Shewa now. I think we talked about this thing in a previous video, that if Amhara forces become involved, Amhara militia then become involved in Oromia region, it could lead to problems regarding ethnic harmony. We have seen clashes between Oromo Amhara groups in border areas. So again, deployment could be in border areas along Amhara side of Amhara Oromia border, but if Oromia forces request Amhara forces to be in Oromia, once again it could lead to serious repercussions. Thank you for watching.